Welcome to Forum 360 with its global outlook and local view. I'm Ardith Keck. You may have driven on the highways around Akron and Summit County and noticed a lot of orange barrels on the roads. How could you not notice? There is a lot of construction going on. We're going to talk about the construction with someone who knows. Our guest is Ray Marsch, the Public Information Officer for the Ohio Department of Transportation for this region. I'm not sure what this region is. Welcome, Ray.
Yeah, glad to be here. So our region is District 4, so that covers Ashtabula, Trumbull, Mahoning, Portage, and Summit and Stark counties.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, the state plans to spend $2.5 billion, that's a B, on roads and bridges this year. That's all of Ohio, but Summit County gets a lot of it, I think. In Ohio, more than 800 bridges will be repaired or replaced. One with lots of traffic, which is being replaced or will be replaced, is the Route 8 bridge over the Cuyahoga River. Now that carries lots of traffic, so I hope you can tell us how they do that.
Yeah. In regards to funding, the way that the Ohio Department of Transportation is funded is through the gas tax. So every time you fill up at the pump, a portion of that goes to funding ODOT. So for every gallon of gas, it's 38.5 cents goes towards the gas tax, and for diesel, it's 47 cents per gallon is put towards the budget. So that is where the money comes from. That is where a majority of our budget comes from to build those bridges, to have these resurfacing jobs. Everything, a majority of it comes from that gas tax.
Okay, now we drive a hybrid, and I know there are lots of electric cars on the road. They don't use any gas. What happens there?
Yeah, there's various other forms that go through, like when you register your vehicle. There's other forms and processes that go through with the tax, but a majority of what ODOT is funded with is that gas tax when people fill up at the pump.
Yeah, I think they charge us a premium, and that probably goes to ODOT as well. Okay, tell me how about that Route 8 bridge.
Yeah, so to start back, the current bridge was built in the early 50s. So that links Akron itself and then also Akron to Cuyahoga Falls. So that was built in the early 50s, and we have just gotten the life out of it. So it's reached its life expectancy. So it's been up since the 50s. So we went in and we decided, hey, instead of continuing to maintenance the bridge, refurbish it, let's build a new bridge. And this project is very interesting because it's kind of the first of its kind in Ohio. So we are doing a launch style build. So what the process is, we're going to build the piers and columns, so like the base of the bridge, and then on the edge, so on the north end of the project, they are going to start building they're going to begin building the bridge and launching it out. So it's going to go all the way across. So the first part that they build on the north end is going to end up all the way on the south end. So as you're driving by on State Route 8 every day, going to and from work or whatever you're doing, you will see beginning next year that launching. And so you'll see it start. And so it's a very slow process, but that's how they're going to do it. So it's a unique way to build a bridge here.
So they build the bridge before they tear down the other bridge.
Yes, that's correct. So
then there'll be a curve in the new bridge, or there'll be a curve in the road.
Yeah, the road, the dimension of the road will change slightly because the bridge is being built to the west of the current structure. So we're going to build the first half of it, and then after that's built, we are going to put southbound traffic on it and then close half of the old bridge. And then once the other side of the bridge is completed, then we will demo the the old structure there.
Whew, sounds like a huge project. I'm sure it's expensive.
$157 million is what the contract was. That is the second largest project in District 4 history. But this work was needed. This bridge was built in the 50s, so we've gotten the life out of it. It's reached its life expectancy here. So this is a a major bridge to help link important parts of Summit County as well as Northeast Ohio to get through the area.
Yeah. Wow. And there's an awful lot happening at the Central Interchange, including a ramp that is being built over the whole thing. Please tell us about the Central Interchange.
Yeah, so $157 million is the Route 8 bridge replacement project. So our project at the Central Interchange, that is the largest project in District 4 history at $160 million. So what we are doing with this project here, it began in 2021, and we are doing over 45 lane miles of pavement reconstruction. So we are taking it down, we are taking this pavement down to the dirt, and we are replacing it from the ground up. So it's from 77, from 224 to the Central, as well as 76/77 from Viodum Boulevard to Princeton Ave. This base concrete that was there, you weren't driving over it, but the base concrete had been there since the interstates were built. So this is a project. This is way more than a typical resurfacing. So that is why the extent of this project, the price tag of it as well. In regards to the bridges, we are building 2 new flyover bridges at the Central Interchange. We are building a new bridge from 76 eastbound to State Route 8 northbound, which will go live here later on this fall. If you drive through there, you could see it. The bridge deck has already been poured. So later on this fall, it will open up to the public. They will be able to take it. And then the second bridge is from 76 westbound to 77 southbound. That is set to go live next year, next fall as well. So the project's progressing very well.
77 northbound. That bridge isn't from 77 northbound.
The new bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, our 2 new bridges right at the Central are going to be 76 east to State Route 8 north, and then 76 west to 77 south. But 77 north turns into State Route 8 at the Central Interchange.
Right. Okay. Whew. $161 million. Well, so we talked about where all the money comes from, and obviously when you fill your tank with gas, you're helping ODOT, so that's good. The other day, my husband and I tried to use the ramp from 77 north to Route 21 south, which is a left off of 77, and it's closed. What's happening in that area?
Yeah, so we're doing a bridge replacement over in the Copley area. So that is a closure that's going to be in place for quite some time, as well as the ramp from if you're headed on 18 eastbound and you want to get on 77 southbound to head towards the Canton area or Akron-Canton area. So that is closed as well. Both those ramps closed last week. So it's for the bridge replacement on 21 there. So because they're doing this work, both of those ramps are needed to close while they do the bridge replacement work.
Now there's no traffic from 77 north onto 21. What happens from 77 south? Can you still get on 21?
So if you're getting on from 18 to head south, you will need to be you will get directed to 21 south. So you cannot get on 70. So you'll take 21 down to 76, and you'll take that all the way across to the Akron Beltway to head 77 south.
Right.
But if you're coming from the Cleveland area and you want to take 77, you'll still be able to do that through this recent closure. It's just for those folks getting on in Montrose.
18.
Yes, correct.
Okay. What is microsurfacing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So microsurfacing is when we take just a very, very thin layer of asphalt, less than 1/4 of an inch. off the road, and then we spray an aggregate material on it. And the reason for the microsurfacing is to prolong the life of the road. So, it helps give us 3, 4, 5 more years before we need to do a full resurfacing or a pavement or a full pavement reconstruction there. So it extends the life. It prevents any potholes from coming up and any cracks. So it's essentially like a sealer layer to give you an example of it. And so and then it stripes the road again. Then we get fresh striping in the area. But the whole goal of a microsurfacing is to extend the life of the road.
Okay. I-271 from Medina County to the Turnpike is being microsurfaced. And Brandywine and Hines Hill will be closed for 5 days. Mm-hmm. And if they were really doing a resurfacing, it might be longer than that. Because I know there are merchants in that area that would object or have trouble. I-271 will be resurfaced from Boston Mills to Route 82. So if you travel 271 frequently, you might have troubles.
Yeah, so both those projects will begin here shortly this summer. Like you mentioned, 271 is going to be resurfaced from State Route 82 to Boston Mills Road. As part of that, we will keep at least one lane open in each direction on 271. So if you're on Main Line, there won't be any complete closures. Traffic, lanes, there will be lane restrictions, so traffic will be, backed up a little bit as our crews work, which is fairly normal, when construction's going on. Mm-hmm. But Main Line 271 will remain open throughout this project as crews work to both resurface 271 between 82 and Boston Mills, and then south of there, the microsurface job as well.
Okay. We're talking today with our friend Ray Marsch, who is the Public Information Officer for the Ohio Department of Transportation for this region. We're talking about all kinds of construction, but we've got lots more to talk about besides that. Ray, can you tell us again what the region is?
Yeah, so we are a part of ODOT District 4 here in Summit County, which includes Ashtabula, Trumbull, Mahoning, Portage, Summit, and Stark counties. And so just north of us, which covers ODOT District 12, which is Cuyahoga, Geauga, and Lake counties. So for most residents who live in Summit County, we're kind of on the border of the two different ODOT regions. So if you're going up to Cleveland, that's ODOT District 12. That makes it easy. And if you're headed to Akron, Canton, or Youngstown, that's ODOT District 4.
Okay. We probably should have talked about Cuyahoga since so many of us travel to Cleveland, but we didn't set that up. So I read an article or two about the use of seatbelt compliance and declining in the last few years. Don't people realize that there's a reason there's a law about seatbelts, like to save their lives? The seatbelt law came in 1986, and there is a new law. So maybe you can talk about the use of seatbelts, whether ODOT knows if they're declining, and also the new law.
So in regards to seatbelts, I feel like that's one of the first things everyone's taught when they go through driver's ed, to buckle up. That's why you see so many signs for the State Highway Patrol and local police that say click it or ticket. It's such an important thing because that simple motion of just buckling your seatbelt will help keep you safe. It'll also help keep everybody else around you safe. If you ever enter a car with friends or family and you see someone not buckling up, it's recommended you kind of give them a little nudge and remind them, hey, you should buckle up, because it keeps everybody safe. And not only that, it is the law. It being a law shouldn't encourage people to buckle up. You should want to, because it helps keep you safe. A simple crash not wearing your seatbelt can be deadly. So it's very vital to buckle up every time you head out. In regards to those statistics that you had mentioned, unfortunately, I do not have those numbers of folks wearing the seatbelts, but we rely on local law enforcement like the State Highway Patrol and local police to enforce the law and to make sure people are wearing them, because a simple crash when you're not buckled up can turn deadly.
You can be thrown out of the car.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And the new law.
Yeah, so we absolutely can talk about the phones down law, which passed in early April of this year. And along with not buckling up when you're driving on the road, something else that has plagued the roadways is distracted driving. I feel like anytime you head out on the road, if you're traveling on the highway, if you look left, if you look right, and you see a couple vehicles pass you, you will see somebody on their phone. And it used to just be texting. Now they're watching videos, they're watching movies, they're FaceTiming.
While they're driving?
Yes, it's escalated more than just texting and driving. I plowed snow this year for Summit County, ODOT, and as I was in the truck in the middle of a snowstorm, I would have vehicles pass me with people on their phones. So this is an issue that has plagued our roadways for quite some time. So the new law was passed in early April, and what it does is it prohibits individuals behind the wheel to be on their phone. You will still be able to utilize hands-free technology. You'll still be able to take calls throughout your Bluetooth and everything like that. But if it's more than a swipe, then it's breaking the law. So please be prepared before you go on your trip, before you go into work. Make sure your phone is synced. That way, if you do get a phone call, you'll be able to use hands-free technology to take it. But ultimately, what this law is for is to make sure that you're focused on the most important thing when you get behind the wheel, is that the road. You want to be focused on driving versus being on your phone texting, because it helps keep you safe and helps keep everyone around you safe.
And as far as seatbelts are concerned, I understand that prior to this new law, you could be somehow restricted or somehow summoned by a policeman if you were in an accident or if there was another reason, and being charged with not wearing a seatbelt. Now, I think the police can actually stop you for not wearing a seatbelt and charge you for not wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah, I am not fluent on the actual laws with when it comes to seatbelt. We rely on our friends with the local police and local law enforcement to enforce that correctly. So I unfortunately can't speak on that, but what I can say is, working at ODOT, growing up in a family of 5, having a lot of friends and family that are drivers, just the importance of buckling up every time you get behind the wheel.
Yeah. And my husband won't even start the car if there's somebody in the back seat and they're not buckled up. He's pretty bad about it. But I'm sure that keeps his back seat safer too. We need to talk about the widening of 77 in Bath and Ridgefield. When will it start?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this mega project is split up into 2 different projects for funding purposes. And so the first portion of the project will start in late 2023/early 24. And that's going to be between Everett Road and State Route 21. So on 77, in that zone you had just referenced, we are widening it from 2 lanes in each direction to 3 lanes in each direction. And this is a vital corridor that not only links Cleveland to Akron and Canton, but as well as if you're traveling all the way throughout 77. So over 50,000 vehicles per day travel that stretch of 77 there. So we're going to widen it from 2 lanes to 3 lanes in each direction, starting with Everett to State Route 21. And also as part of that, there are going to be various lighting upgrades, bridge repairs, and signage work that's going to be occurring with this project as well.
Okay, and when will it be finished?
So between Everett Road and 21, that's a 2-year project. So that's going to start late 2023 here. So that will run for 2 years. And then after that, once we're done with that, we will work from Gent to Everett Road on 77, doing the same work, widening 77 from 2 lanes to 3 lanes, and that will be 2 years as well. So it's going to end around 2027 for that entire stretch of 77 there. Obviously, the northern portion will get done first, but 77 between Gent and 21 will be under construction for quite some time here.
Mm-hmm. More orange barrels.
But it's important. There's a purpose for it, and we understand that the orange barrels come up, and it might take some time, but there's a reason. So once these orange barrels are gone and the project is finished, now there will be 3 lanes in each direction. So congestion will go down. You'll be able to drive through that area, much more efficiently because there's that extra lane. So although construction is needed and it does take time, it's for a purpose. We are doing it to help improve the area for not only Northeast Ohio, but for all Ohio, because that's a vital corridor in the state.
And we should feel that way about all the orange barrels because they're doing some good. Obviously, they slow us down from time to time, but there is a good reason for them. You mentioned snow plowing. Do you do that?
Yeah, so I got my CDL through ODOT in 2020, and I didn't plow the last 2 years, but this winter here was my first season snow plowing for the state. I am an auxiliary driver here, so I'm not one of the main drivers. I get called out when there's a big snow event or when they need assistance. So yeah, this was my first winter snow plowing, and I got great training from some of the best folks in Summit County. I shadowed them for about a month. In October, it was like every Friday I would go out and we would run the route, and all these men and women who have been plowing for multiple years were showing me the ropes, what to look out for. Because when you're traveling on the road, when you're snow plowing, there's times where you can't see the road if it's coming down more than an inch an hour. So you're really learning the bridge approaches, where you can turn around, where to place more salt. So there's a science behind plowing salt or plowing snow, and yeah, so this is my first year, and I thought it went very well.
There's a lot of downtime when you're waiting for snow to arrive and you're sitting on the highway. I can see the trucks sitting there, and I imagine, well, maybe you can read a book.
Well, so some things that we do before a snowstorm starts is we will pre-treat if it's not going to rain beforehand. So our crews will go out and they will place salt and then brine on the roadways in advance of that snowstorm. It's called pre-treating, so that way once that snow starts to fall, there's already material down on the roads. And then also our crews are on 12-hour shifts, so if they've pre-treated and that snow's going to come in here at 6 o'clock and they got in at noon, hey, they're checking over their equipment. They're making sure that there's no issues with the plow blades. They're making sure that everything is up and running. They're really diving into those pre-checks to make sure, because that gives them the opportunity to eliminate an issue beforehand, before they get out there.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good. When I see people not using their seatbelt, excuse me, it reminds me of the fact that people don't use their turn signals. And I'm old enough that we used to have to roll down the window and stick our hand out in order to give a turn signal. And it's so easy now. All you have to do is push a little lever, but they still don't use it. It's always surprises me.
Yeah, it's absolutely important to use your turn signal, especially when you're driving around like a construction vehicle. Even if you're passing one of our snow plows and coming up on them, we always urge people to only pass when it's safe to do so and conditions permit it. But doing so, using that turn signal, it allows the person behind you or in front of you to know, hey, you're going somewhere. It gives indication. It just helps keep everybody safe.
Amazing, amazing. Well, we need to keep all of this straight. Thank you, Ray, for helping us understand all of it. We have to give ODOT credit for all the work and not be annoyed with the orange barrels. Thank you for watching or listening to Forum 360 with its global outlook and local view. I'm Ardith Keck. Thank you, Ray Marsch.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Forum 360 is brought to you by John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, the Akron Community Foundation, Hudson Community Television, the Rubber City Radio Group, Shaw Jewish Community Center of Akron, Blue Green, Electric Impulse Communications, and Forum 360 supporters.